Welcome to the Virtual Ball Boys podcast. My name is Chris, and I am joined once again by my good friend, Matt.
All right, Chris, I've thought about it.
Mm-hmm.
I've done a lot of soul searching.
Yep.
I will agree to the cold cuts and the Pop-Tarts.
Yes!
For the loser.
Yes! Yes! I promise you could do whatever you want for either flavors.
Well, I would hope so.
Yeah.
That you at least would give me that.
Yes, I want to give you as much leeway as possible with it.
And it's probably going to be ham and strawberry, but
that's fine. I would 100% agree to these principles. All right. So there you have it. We have our punishment locked down pat. To be fair though, although where are we at with those bowl standings? Let me double check. I have not checked in a bit. I believe I am trailing, so you may not even have to worry about doing it. Yeah, right now I am sitting at oh wait, no, I'm viewing the 2022 version.
Oh.
Whoops. All right, hold on. Where the man, I wish ESPN's website was at least just a little bit easier to navigate in some capacity.
Nah.
Okay, no, you are trailing.
Cool.
By only one game though. It's 5-3, and
yeah.
I'm 5-3, and you're 4-4 right now.
Yeah. Okay.
And we'll see. I don't know. I forget if we disagreed or agreed on tonight's game. That is UTSA versus Marshall in the Frisco Bowl, which, by the way, would probably already be done once you guys listen to this. Anyways.
Yep.
So that makes me very excited. I'm very intrigued. I think my game plan would be honestly whatever is in the house plus whatever flavor, like whatever. Like I don't think I'm probably gonna get Pop-Tarts with the intention of having at least a couple of the packages recreationally. So yeah. I am not going to like. I don't think I'm gonna really tailor my sandwich either. It's gonna be like whatever's in the house cold cut wise, and then like it probably like a raspberry or something like that for my Pop-Tart, which I'm very excited about. All right, let's get into the normal rigmarole, which I haven't used that word in a while, and I'm surprised I didn't completely butcher it. Rigmarole.
You butchered words worse. You've butchered easier words. Far worse.
1,000%. Yeah. There is days where I butcher the word the. Yeah. And it's just, I just have to live with it. It's just how it goes. Anyways, we're gonna have a normal episode today. And by normal, it's just, it's our level of normal, so the bar's very, very low.
Yeah.
We are going to go ahead and recap what happened last week. Then we're previewing this week's NFL games, which is Christmas. It's the Christmas Spectacular. Yeah. And then we're gonna go ahead and pick all those games, and then of course we teased it last week, but we are finally going to assign a mascot to the town of Coffeyville in Kansas. So that's I mean, there's already some ideas based off of that name alone, but we'll get to that in just a bit. But first, let's go ahead and do our Week 15 recap. And Matt, there were quite a few good games last week. I decided to take an interesting turn for the game of the week this time around, and I went Bears at Browns for the game of the week.
Oh, no. Soul crushing.
Because it is as messy of a game as you could expect, but yet it was somewhat entertaining with just how all of a sudden Joe Flacco became a god in like the last fourth quarter. Yep. And it just got the Browns going, and got them to victory, but not without a just what could have really been one of the best moments of the season. Instead, ends in a way that kind of like is the epitome of the Bears'
he
current
had
situation.
He had it it was in his hands.
Justin Fields rather threw it up in the air to.
It was in his hands.
Try to attempt a Hail Mary, and it was in Darnell Moody's hands.
And he was on the ground.
And it landed right in his lap, and he just basically batted it away. Once he was on the ground, it was a just complete soul crushing loss for the Bears, who were kind of in the playoff hunt, despite their 5-8 record, but now dropping to 5-9, it does not seem like they're going to come back from that. Browns, meanwhile, have Joe Flacco at the quarterback, which turns out is a good thing, which is bizarre. Matt, where are you at mentally with this game?
Heartbroken, but also like, maybe I would be like, I'm okay with like moving on. I wanted this emotionally, because we were still in the playoff race, kind of. Not really, but I didn't hear no bell yet, so
yeah,
gonna keep fighting.
Same with the Giants. I was in the same boat.
Yeah, I don't hear no bell yet. But I sent you this tweet. If Mooney had caught that, Chicago would be picking 12th in the NFL, and with him dropping it, they're picking 5th.
Yeah.
In the draft. So,
right.
When we get Eric Bieniemy or Ben Johnson or Jim Harbaugh, and they draft Caleb Williams and one more person with with those 2 top 5 picks, it's probably for the best.
Yeah, and maybe Justin Fields gets traded for a first-round draft pick. For all we know, who knows?
Yeah, that could happen too.
I don't know if it'll be first round, but
I would be fine with a second. At least. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. What an absolute series of events. Ultimately, this is what you want as a Bears fan if you do not want another year of Eberflus.
Because just other just poor decisions.
Yeah.
Really prevented them from winning this game that they totally could have won.
To speak to the Browns real quick, and another candidate for this game of the week could have been like Bengals Colts, I'm sorry, Bengals Vikings. Sorry, forgot who the other team was in that game. Because that one was a nice fun one as well. Jake Browning was excellent in that, and I just kind of like want to take a step back real quick, and we've had a rough year. The NFL's not been at its peak. I think everyone notices it. I saw MSNBC debating how the NFL's product is bad this year because of all the quarterbacks not dropping. Fucking Joe Scarborough, whatever the fuck his name is, in the morning. Just not talking about any of the bullshit in our government or in our world. No, we're going to talk about the NFL just being a shit product this year, which I don't completely disagree, but
no,
I also am like, I kind of am liking it. I'm kind of liking the weirdness for this year. I feel like as much as I lament the fact that we have all these injuries and like it sucks, and there's a lot to be said about like, penalties and like the refs obviously doing their thing as always, and it's just like things just being messy. I am enjoying that there's so many teams that are being led by backup quarterbacks that are compelling, and I am enjoying the fact that in a year that feels that in most years where we kind of start to feel like we know who the Super Bowl champion is going to be, it kind of just feels like we don't know who the fuck it's gonna be going into the last few weeks here. Like,
yeah.
Like, I mean, I know...
Like, we have ideas.
Like, there's the 49ers and the Ravens, right? And, like, those...
Yeah.
But those teams are playing each other this week. And also, like... I don't know, like a couple of weeks ago, we would have easily put the Eagles in that conversation, and then they have gone and lost 3 straight. We'll talk about the Eagles in a second here.
And even
But,
parts of this season, the 49ers and the Ravens have both been like, what the fuck are they doing?
right, like the Ravens have not looked like dominant, but they've been good enough to win the amount of games that they have.
Yeah.
And like the 49ers have really just gotten on a good streak since their bye, which that's just kind of what they do, though. They just get hot down this, like, after having like a rough like middle of the season. But yeah, it just doesn't feel like there's just something weird about it that I like. I wish it was better. I wish that we had more healthy quarterbacks and healthy all players. You hate seeing anyone go down with injuries, but I don't know. I might as well just enjoy what it is. It's gonna be weird, and I kind of just enjoy it for that.
You know what else is? You know what else this year's doing though? It's creating jobs and better backup quarterbacks.
Right, there you go.
Because the teams that have good backup quarterbacks, like kind of the Vikings, the Bengals, the Browns, even are relevant, and the teams that don't, the Jets, are irrelevant at this point.
Right. Right, and I hope it's a sign to every... I mean, I feel like we've gone through this before, and NFL teams still don't learn, but it's a sign that you need to have a good backup quarterback. You need to actually go out of your way to scout a very good backup quarterback. Like, I know it's hard enough to find a quarterback of the future and stuff like that, but backups are... I would imagine a backup is somewhat easier to find in a way, because at least you don't need them to be superstars. You can get Gardner
Minshew anywhere.
Right. You don't need a superstar. You need someone who can learn a playbook and then run an offense based off of using your coaching and using the players that are already on the team that are super talented. Like, they don't need to be world beaters. So, I don't know. I'm kind of trying to look at the positive side about this season, where it's just like, yeah, it's been not great, but I don't know. There's been some weird stuff, such as the Raiders dropping 63 on the Chargers and getting Brendan Staley fired. That's our blowout.
Yeah. Yeah. It's about time. Like, you know it's bad when Richard Sherman is saying that he should get fired at halftime.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Keep in mind, like, that was was it 42-0 score going into that half? Yeah, that is insane. The fact that it was not, that it ultimately did not get to the 70 is a bit of a disappointment, and that the fourth quarter ultimately they ended up scoring the same amount of points, both teams, 21. But yeah, no, that would have been insane if we had a second 70 burger and it was the Raiders who had fired Josh McDaniels earlier in the year, completely trouncing the Chargers, which they don't ultimately what they did.
Yeah, they don't score 63 points if Josh McDaniels is coaching.
No, oh my god, no way. This game would have been like 27. It would have been 21 to 18, or 21 to 17, and it would be like 2 minutes left on the clock, and with like Raiders will have no timeouts, and then Josh McDaniels would come out and kick a field goal to make it 21-20, like or something like that. Like that's what that situation would have been. But yeah, no, Brandon Staley got fired after that, as well as Tom Telesco, who is one of the longer term general managers on the Chargers. He's been there for a while.
Which is surprising because the roster was never the problem with. Although maybe drafting Quentin Johnson was that bad of a choice.
Well, that's the thing. I think also you do start to look at the roster, and like, yeah, you do have some good pieces, but like they're kind of in a similar boat to what the Raiders are. They have some good pieces, but then there is a lack of depth at a lot of different places. I mean, especially the defensive side, like, is like, yeah, you have Khalil Mack, who's had an amazing year. You have Joey Bosa. You do have like a couple other guys, Derwin James. I feel like Derwin James, I'm kind of surprised. I feel like he kind of went back into like he hasn't really been like that much at the forefront. He definitely still plays very well, but like as someone who I think was like a superstar, feels like a couple years ago, has not really been that much talked about. But still, like you do have like these like kind of like name recognition players, but it just didn't come together. And like when you are a defensive coach that allows 42 points to be scored on you in the first half, you're not doing a good job. So yeah, and of course they did have Justin Herbert, and you know it's there's a lot of different things going on there, but it's a rough go for the Chargers. But now the Chargers and Raiders are going to try to be in the forefront, trying to find a new head coach, try to find the best coach for them. And it'll be an interesting race to see who gets their guy, ultimately. Chaos of the week, we hinted at earlier, but the Eagles at Seahawks, I felt like was the one to go with here because, yeah, the Eagles have lost 3 straight.
Did his foot hit the ground, Chris?
Okay, yes.
This is gonna be another Des caught that ball.
that was nuts. I think it looked like it did, but I don't know. It's tough. Like he clearly was trying. Like he clearly was trying to reach for it. I do wonder like how many different angles you could have made, because I feel like you could make an argument either way. But if the ruling on the field was a catch, they have to kind of just stick with that ruling. That's usually the referee go to. But yeah, that was rough. There's a lot of weird calls in that game. I think there's a couple penalties that people thought that shouldn't have happened. But regardless, as I always say, you have to outplay the refs. And Eagles just completely are they're in a bad way. They're still they're right now the 5 seed. They could still win this division. They still have, I think, overall an easier path than the Cowboys.
Yep.
But yeah, their defense has not really been playing very well, and Jalen Hurts was playing somewhat hurt. He was sick during that game, and it kind of showed. It wasn't like what was it? With Michael Jordan that had like the fever game or whatever. Like it wasn't anything like that. But you know that they're after losing 3 straight, this is a hard come back down to earth for this Eagles team. And as for the Seahawks, they're back in the NFC playoff mix. They're not in the picture per se. They're not like in the 3 wildcard seeds, but they are in contention. But they are behind the Rams, and the Rams have the tiebreaker over them, so it'll be harder for them to kind of leapfrog the Rams. But they have a shot to get into the playoffs.
They do.
And that was also with the help of Drew Lock at quarterback this time.
Again,
around. Backups. All right. Well, that's good. That's good. Do it. But there might be a go fuck yourself, right?
Yeah, there sure is a go fuck yourself. Thank you for reminding me. Jesus Christ. Arthur Smith. Why do you still have a job?
Because it's the NFC South.
Because it's the NFC. I get it's the NFC South, but this is not just the worst team in the league, one of the worst teams of the decade so far. And you scored 7 points against them and lost.
Yeah.
Because you don't fucking call plays for 3 players that you drafted, that your team drafted in the top fucking 10 for 3 years in a row. Yeah. Why? Bryce Young, good on you. You get another win. This game was a rainy mess. But you know, give me a fucking, give me a break, Arthur. I'm sorry. I went back to Arthur. Carolina, good for you. Yeah. Really like the black helmets. Mm-hmm. Still not looking great. Obviously only scored 9 points, but
yeah.
God, imagine sucking this bad.
They really sucked that bad.
You lost to the most ass team.
Yeah, and I mean, like, what are we doing? Like, you have this opportunity to win a division that is just within reach. That it is just the easiest fucking division to win. Like the Rams or Seahawks could become part of the NFC South, which wouldn't make geographical sense for the Seahawks. But they could be part of that division and win that division easily.
Yeah.
So, I mean, some may say the Giants could join that division and potentially win it, or the Bears.
They might.
The Bears could win that division. Although, the Giants also just got like completely obliterated by the Saints. So you know what? Maybe not. I'll take it back.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I don't know. I just, how can you allow this shit to happen when you have what you have on your roster, and you could so easily get these wins, and yet you just refuse to make any substantial changes that will work. I mean, you did decide to change quarterbacks. So that was announced today that Heineke's gonna be starting again. But like, what are we doing? Is that, or are we just gonna play like hot potato with the quarterback position and just keep on going back and forth between the two, and not fucking like when do you recognize that the problem is you? Like when does that happen? I don't know. It's bad. Let's go ahead. We'll take a break from the NFL. Let's go ahead instead and shift focus to the VBBFL. Let's see. What do we want to do for Coffeyville, Kansas, Matt?
Let's take a look. I mean, coffee's the obvious choice, and it's not spelled like actual coffee.
Yeah.
So that makes things difficult.
So worth noting, the very first thing that I'm seeing here is that this is a town that is 1 mile north of South Coffeyville, Oklahoma. So there's a Coffeyville, Kansas, and then there's a South Coffeyville, Oklahoma.
Fascinating.
So there you go. Some weird shit going on there. I am trying to read into histories and kind of get I mean, like we could lead in. I understand what you mean. Like it's not like it is definitely about coffee,
right?
But
this is the unfortunate. The unfortunate part about the Midwest. Also, there's only 8,000 people here.
Yes.
Wasn't it a 10,000?
I feel like we change it every single time. Like okay. I thought there was 5,000 at one point.
I don't know.
At one point, I think it was like 20,000.
It might have been, but again, Chris, like I don't know. Maybe I'm being mean to these towns.
Have we been holding Coffeyville, like saying yes, we're going to give you a team for a week here, and then we're just gonna discard
If
it.
anyone listens to our fucking podcast
yes,
and that lives in Coffeyville, at Virtual Ball Boys on Twitter, on Twitter, and tell us, and we will make a team in Coffeyville.
Yeah. But you have until, like, January.
Next week. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, to like, let us know.
But, Chris, there's, like, other than just, like, coffee, like, we're not going to find anything super noteworthy.
Alright. I mean, there is a guy named Wade Flemons, who is the former member of the music group Earth, Wind, and Fire, who was born here. Also, there's Phil Art, drummer of the rock band Kansas. Maybe we could go down those rabbit holes.
Related to music and stuff.
We could, but at the same time, that doesn't really help. Wait, hold on. We have Omar Kendlick, inventor of the icy frozen drink. Hold on. We might be able to cook something here. I got nothing. All right, I'll change the town.
Okay, I'm sorry for being a downer with this entire fucking season, but like I want interesting places.
All right.
Just so happens that 3 of these places are H cities and N states, but
Right. that's also a part of it, but we'll figure it out. All right, we're gonna generate another group of towns here. We're not. I am actually going to skip over. The very first result on this list was an H town again.
Okay.
So we're
just for our personal sake,
just for our sanity.
Yeah.
At this point. All right. I know it's well known, but maybe we go to Lincoln, Nebraska.
I'm okay with that. We can do stuff with Lincoln.
That's not bordering anything, right?
It's not. No.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Lincoln, Nebraska. We do know what this place is. This is a very large city in Nebraska.
Yes.
292,000 people. There is, of course, also I believe the University of Nebraska is in this.
Yes.
Yeah, it's the main. Yeah, the University of Nebraska-Lincoln is the main campus of the University of Nebraska system. Believe this is where the football field is also played as well. They're known as the Cornhuskers, if you didn't know. So
God, their football sucks. They're so bad at football.
Yeah,
it's the only thing going on in Nebraska, so that's all that they care about. But God, the football's so bad.
Yeah, but hey, they're turning it around. They just got.
Are they?
They got a quarterback from Georgia. They got the #1 recruit in the nation from Georgia.
Yeah, but Matt Rule's the head coach.
Matt Rule got them to a bowl game in their first season. So I'm just saying, it's not all bad for them. All right, so we have to look at. I mean. We literally could go off a Corn itself. I know they're the Corn Huskers. Like they already have a corner on this food related team situation. But we could one up them. There are better ways to utilize Corn in the football name. At least that's the argument I'm willing to present. Will we get there? I don't know.
Yep.
But I just think it's worth a push. I'm looking at the economy because I think that's where we find out potentially.
Okay, now here's something fascinating we could work with. There is somehow I found a local regional food that I've never heard of before that it was created in Lincoln, Nebraska.
Hit me with it.
It's called the Runza. Runza.
Runza. The Lincoln runs the ball.
Runs the ball? They runs the ball. They runs the ball. It's an option.
It's an option. We can marinate on that, but it's an option.
But it's a bread pocket filled with stuff. So putting bread
like
inside things is not not necessarily anything like unique or
it's
new.
It's like a Stromboli or a...
Yeah, but this looks like it looks like a fucking and it may just be a restaurant called Runza that does this specifically. But it's unique. You don't see Runzas anywhere else.
You don't. How do you spell that so that way I can
Runza?
Runza. Okay.
Runs the ball is so funny. I fucking hate it.
Yeah, it literally does look like a little bit, maybe like a slightly more gourmet Hot Pocket.
Yeah.
Like very, very slightly more. Although it does also look like it looks like hot dog buns is like the breading.
It looked. I was thinking just like literally like a hollowed out Jimmy John's sandwich bread.
Yeah, I could see that. Okay. I mean, the only issue is like, this is a brand.
It is a brand.
Is a brand. So maybe
we can do something with Meat Pocket.
With Meat I mean. if we just gonna go Lincoln Meat Pockets.
The Lincoln Meat Pockets.
I'm not against
It's
that.
not. The problem is that it's not a play on words like everything else is.
Okay, but we also, the last time we did this, we went with root Kabirs, which
I realize.
I still love dearly,
Yeah.
but I recognize that was a stretch in itself. Maybe we just take a break and just go Meat Pockets and make it easy on ourselves.
Lincoln Meat Pockets. Now, does calling something a Lincoln Meat Pocket mean anything political to the President of the United States, which this is named after?
I mean, I don't know. I don't really give a shit. I mean, if it's offensive to him, 100%, let's do it. But I bet more so.
You freed the slaves.
Oh, I see what you mean. I thought you meant more modern day.
No.
Yeah, okay. Are we trying to both name a football team, but also protect the legacy of Abraham Lincoln?
So I'm just saying, if we want to name it Meat Pocket, like, the fact that it does have Abraham Lincoln's name on it might mean something.
The fucking estate of Abraham Lincoln is gonna send us an email like, we don't want him anything associated with Meat Pockets. We don't like he was eating a meat pocket when he was shot, okay?
I don't think that's true, but
we don't want that association here. I don't know. I don't think I would be I don't think there is any issue with that, personally.
I'm thinking through everything.
No, I appreciate that. We have to consider every single scenario here.
Meat presidents. That's not anything.
I don't know.
I think we got a name of the Meat Pockets.
I think so too. I do, as much as I do love Runsable.
Because it's a brand.
Or we could, I mean, well, hold on. Maybe this is the first ever football team that we have a tagline for. The Lincoln Meat Pockets. We runs the ball. We runs the ball.
We runs the ball.
That's it. We got it.
That's it.
All right, the Lincoln Meat Pockets is the winner.
Fuck me. So funny. All right. Colors.
Have we had like multiple browns at this point?
We have a cream and we have a brown.
Yeah, okay.
We have a brown with the root beers.
We can't do that again.
We can't have another brown.
But that's okay. Meat can be many different colors depending on how well you want it cooked.
Right.
The question is, what? So, all right. So, what are some colors we have not experimented with yet?
So we've done all the rainbow colors.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have white or black as a primary color yet.
Okay.
I'm looking at Runza and they're yellow and green, but we already have cream and green, so that's going to be too close.
Right. What about like a white and yellow? Have we done that before?
We have not. I don't know how good that would look.
I mean, we've had some gaudy color combinations before.
We have.
I don't hate it. But
yeah, we might be able to make it work.
I mean, because I think we've done green and white before.
We've not.
But we have done. We're doing green and cream. So
we're doing green and cream. Yeah.
So that's kind of
It feels similar.
Yeah.
Are you also just looking at the Runza logo?
I was, yeah. But we could. I mean, if we want to move away from that, like, we could do, which we might have already done this color combination, but hear me out. We could do the color combination that is representative of the two ends of the meat cooking spectrum, which is raw and then like overcooked or burnt.
This is red and black.
Red and black.
We do have a red and yellow, so we can do a different shade of red and black. I'd be okay with that.
Yeah.
Like a bright, vibrant red for the strulips, and then maybe more maroon. We've done red and gray, but that was season 1, so I'd be fine with red and black.
Okay.
Maybe red and charcoal.
Red and charcoal. Yeah.
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 All right, cool. This has got to be our last season of VBBFL because we're not going to beat the meat pockets. God damn it! Fuck me. That was not intentional.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
That was not intentional, but I'm so glad that I said it.
We're not gonna beat the meat pockets.
We're not gonna beat the meat pockets,
especially not on this podcast. We're not We're not gonna do that. That might be inappropriate. All right. Well, there you go. Congratulations, Lincoln. You have a new football team that has a better food associated name than the one you currently have. I hope you're happy. And I hope Runs is happy being included in the tagline. For free. You did not have to even pay for that shit. It's there.
If I ever go to Lincoln, Nebraska, I have to find a Runza.
1000%. Yeah, no, that's you're legally obligated at this point. All right, let's move on to our picks.
It's good. Like you can just eat it like a burger. Like it's just burger stuff.
Yeah, no,
there's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, those sandwiches did look good. I'm excited. I would love to try it myself.
I would eat one.
I would eat one as well. I was gonna try to get more appropriate there, but I'm gonna stop there. Anyways, we're gonna move on to week 16. Last week, Matt, you and I tied, but with a catch. I did get my guarantee. I did not get my chaos, but that means that I got at least 1 point more.
Yep, because I did not get my guarantee.
Or your chaos, yes.
Or my chaos.
Yeah, but we both went 10-6, but I got 4 points and you got 3 points because of that. So now as the standings overall stand, Matt, you're sitting at 135.89 and 43 points.
Yep.
And I'm sitting at 126.98 and 25 points. Pretty good. Cool. I will very easily eclipse 100 losses this week. C'est la vie. It's okay. It's how it is. But we are now going to move on to the 16th week of the 2023 NFL season. And Matt, I feel like I have a couple of unhinged picks.
That's fine.
I just because it's a weird year. It's just a weird year. Anyways, go ahead, start us off here.
Thursday Night Football, the New Orleans Saints versus Los Angeles Rams. Saints managed to overcome the surging Giants and get a win, keep themselves alive for their division win. And, maybe even wildcard playoff berth, because all the NFC is around 7-7 right now. Taking on the Rams, who also trying for that wildcard berth, also at 7-7. Who do you think is going to win?
I will take the Rams.
I will also take the Rams, and I really like how the Rams are playing. I'm going to guarantee the Rams.
Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. The Rams guarantee worked for me last week.
Yeah.
It'll probably work for you this week. I like it. All right, next up, the Bengals versus the Steelers on Saturday, the 4:30 game. I believe this one's on NBC. Yes.
It is.
This one's on NBC. The other one's on Peacock. The Bengals, of course, are just riding the high of Jake Browning after their win last Saturday against the Vikings. And meanwhile, the Steelers are just flatlining, having lost to the Patriots, the Cardinals, the Patriots, and then the Colts in consecutive weeks. The Philadelphia or the Pennsylvania teams are really going through it right now.
Yep.
What do you think's gonna happen here?
The Pittsburgh Steelers are not a very good football team. They will also be starting Mason Rudolph. I'm picking the Bengals.
Yeah. And when they picked Rudolph, they shouted out with glee, "Yippee!"
You were either going there or some joke about him getting hit by a helmet.
No, oh my god. No, there was there was a tweet I will shout out, but I forget what it was, but that made the Rudolph pun. I was just like,
That's funny.
at some point tonight, I'm gonna go on a variation of that. So credit to that tweet, whatever it is. I forget who it was. But I'm gonna go with the Bengals as well.
Cool. Buffalo Bills take on the Chargers. Bills, decisive win against the Cowboys. The Bills could be back, and nobody wants to face the Bills when they're good. Versus the Chargers, just got rid of Brandon Staley. However, they still have Easton Stick as their quarterback for the rest of the season. Who's going to win?
I'm legally obligated to stick with...
You're not legally obligated.
I'm legally obligated to stick with my belief in coaches after the interim coaches in their first games. So I'm going to Team Chaos, the Los Angeles Chargers.
Jesus Christ!
It is the worst Team Chaos that there is, but I'm gonna do it. I have nothing to lose. I've lost much. You
literally have nothing to lose.
I literally have nothing else to lose at this point.
I haven't gotten to Chaos right since week 10.
Yeah. I might as well just throw shit at a wall and see if it sticks. I imagine you're going in a different direction.
Oh, I'm picking the Bills.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Good. The smart move. Indianapolis Colts versus the Atlanta Falcons. We have addressed the Falcons enough tonight. The Colts, sneaky good. They're in the playoff picture. They've won quite a few games in a row, it feels like now. They're doing pretty well. Will they continue that momentum in this game, Matt?
I think Shane Steichen should be Coach of the Year candidate if he's not already. I'm going to pick the Colts.
Yeah, I am going to pick the Colts as well. I would have guaranteed this, but I guaranteed them a couple of weeks ago. Yeah. I'd rather not do repeats as per usual.
All right. Seattle Seahawks versus the Tennessee Titans. Seahawks potentially turning it up at the right time. Drew Lock played well in his debut this year. Versus the Titans. They played hard against the Texans, but they're still mostly the same Titans. I could see this game being pretty close. Do you think the Seahawks have the edge, though?
Yeah, it is actually a tougher game than you'd imagine going in. I could absolutely see the Titans winning this. I actually had them picked initially, but the more I think about it, I'm like, I think maybe the Seahawks. I think with a defense that's starting to really play well, like they have quite a few playmakers on that team, and like if that combined with an offense that generally has been doing well this season, I think that they're a pretty good team. I think they'll take care of business in this game. Seahawks.
All right. I'm also picking the Seahawks.
There you go. The Detroit Lions at the Minnesota Vikings. It is a big game for the Detroit Lions. They blew out the Broncos last week. And so now a single win in the last 3 weeks will win them the division for the first time since 1993, I want to say was the year. Versus the Vikings, who just kind of flatlined against the Bengals after a while and are showing a lot of signs for doubt for their playoff hopes. What do you think's going to happen here?
Doubt creeps in. But I am so high on the Lions train that they were able to bounce back. Every team has had their slumps. Maybe the Lions went on a little bit longer than you may have wanted, but I don't think Nick Mullins is beating this team. Let's go Lions.
I feel like if I pick the Vikings here, it's going to help the Lions win.
You are so pessimistic about your football knowledge, Chris.
I know. I'm just saying. Like last week, I picked the Broncos to win against the Lions, and the Lions roared back. And so maybe if that's what needs to happen here, for the Lions to win, I'm going to do it. So I'm picking the Vikings in this game.
All right. I mean, I respect your sacrifice.
Yes, exactly.
All right, here it is, Chris. The number 32 ranked defense in the Washington Commanders take on the number 32 ranked offense in the New York Jets. Something's got to give. A stoppable force versus a movable object.
Yikes. I think Trevor Siemian's poised to start in this game because Zach Wilson's in concussion protocol.
Yeah.
I guess because of the I don't know, pick the Jets. I don't know.
I'm actually gonna pick the Commanders.
Yeah,
they tend to blow things a lot, but they still tend to score points. So I'm gonna pick the Commanders.
Yeah, no, I think that's a fair point. Next up, the Green Bay Packers at the Carolina Panthers. The Packers have fallen out of being like a hype team, have lost their second game in a row now, and they are sitting at 6-8, no longer able to win their division, but still in the wild card hunt versus the Panthers, who who is the guy that makes the silly graphics that you shared with
Jay
me?
Kuda.
Jay Kuda, his one of his newer graphics that he posted today was the teams sitting at lunch tables based off of their win totals, and he had the Panthers logo hiding underneath their own table, like, and looking from behind like the bars of like the food table, as if it was like just a growling cat just like peeking from behind a wall. It was very good. Anyways, that's the only good thing I can say about the Panthers right now. What do you have for this game?
So I prefacing this rant with I'm a Bears fan, but yeah. I feel like there are a ton of teams that get that like people always question the hype for, and I never felt like that the Packers like got like, oh, are they frauds in the questioning of them like actually being good, even though they started the year pretty bad. Yeah. Just putting that out there. That said, I still think they'll beat the Panthers.
There you go.
But, you know, maybe like Jordan Love was playing well, but I think it's a little bit early to call him the next great Packers QB.
He's not the reason why they're losing.
Oh, no, their defense sucked ass.
That's what it is. It's their defense that's absolutely terrible. That said, I too am gonna pick the Packers.
Yeah. All right, very interesting one here. Cleveland Browns versus the Houston Texans. Stroud, I think, is still in concussion protocol, but they were able to. Case Keenum was able to, and Davis Mills for a couple drives were able to get the Texans to a victory. Meanwhile, the Browns still a great defense. Joe Flacco is doing what he needs to do for this team. Do you think the Texans have a chance against this Browns team?
They have a chance, but do we know of the status of one CJ Stroud coming into this week? That's my big question here.
Remains in concussion protocol as of a day ago.
Okay. I'm gonna go Browns.
Yeah, I feel like I really want to pick the Texans here, and I think if Stroud was healthy, I would, but I think I'll pick the Browns to be a little safer. Nah, fuck it, I'll pick the Texans.
Okay, all right, you're switching to the Texans. All right,
I'm doing the Texans.
All
Whatever.
Right. Yeah, all good. Next up is the Jaguars versus the Buccaneers. Interesting game. Two division leaders right now going up against each other. Jaguars are, of course, coming off of a bit of brutal stretch for them. Been losing quite a few games in a row. Not really playing at the height of their powers, and now completely tied up in their division. Buccaneers are also in a similar boat of being tied at the top of their division, but they at least have been playing somewhat decently. Baker Mayfield's been playing with his hair on fire. What do you think is going to happen in this one?
I am fascinated by this game as well. This might be one that I seek out, although I may be in family activities at this point, so I may not get the opportunity, and we'll just be watching the Bears game. But like I feel like the Jaguars have to rebound, but the Buccaneers are a weird team for them to do it against because they are surging so much. I feel like you're going to pick the Buccaneers, so I'm going to pick the Jaguars.
I did have the Jaguars selected.
You can pick who you want, by the way. Don't let me influence it.
No, I know. I'm not. I got. There's been multiple times when going down this list that I have changed my picks for games because it's kind of a close week for a lot of games here. I'll go with the Bucks. I'll go with the disagreement. I do really want to believe in this Jaguars team that they could be more than what we've seen the last few weeks, but there's something about the Buccaneers that just it's starting to feel like maybe that this Buccaneers team is starting to find that, hey, we can just be the best team in our division and actually look at the next 3 weeks. Maybe we could actually just get to that point, and there's something about the Bucs that I just feel a little bit more confident on, but
yeah,
I don't know. It's a toss-up. It's a very close game.
Yep. Arizona Cardinals versus the Chicago Bears. This is not going to be a fun one, I think, for either team.
Yeah.
Cardinals haven't been playing the best, but not the worst, as obviously still been losing a lot of games. Scored more points against San Francisco than you may have expected. And then the Bears always blow everything.
Yeah.
But still have shown some competency. Do you think that competency will result in a win?
I think so. I think the Bears have had actually some not really nice defensive moments the last half of the year. Maybe that's because of Montez Sweat.
They lead the league in interceptions, actually.
Right. Yeah. Like
they've only scored 13 points off of those interceptions.
Yeah.
The entire season.
Yeah, I mean, really, the defense has been looking pretty good, and I think for Eberflus, that's a feather in his cap at least. But I don't know if it's gonna be great for the future. But I'm gonna pick them in this game, and I'm gonna take a risk and guarantee the Bears.
Wild.
I'm gonna take a risk because I do believe that this Bears team is better than what the Cardinals are at right now.
I think I agree with you. I'm gonna pick the Bears too.
There you go.
I think if they it's gonna be a sad Christmas for Eberflus if they lose, though.
Yeah. The Dallas Cowboys versus
maybe
the
wait
Miami...
until the 26th.
Right. Yeah. Dallas Cowboys versus the Miami Dolphins. Really good game. Good game.
Hopefully.
You got multiple good games on the schedule, but this is a good looking game. The Cowboys are coming off of a brutal loss to the Bills after riding high, going into that after beating the Eagles. And then you have a Dolphins team that hasn't really been as dominant as they have been. Offense has been like iffy, but they're still playing pretty well, and maybe they will have it in them to finally beat a good football team. Will they do it this time, Matt?
Like, they have to, but these are the two teams that can't be good football teams.
And now they face each other.
Can I predict a tie?
I don't think that's possible with the ESPN thingy. But I will say I think a vortex is going to open up on above Hard Rock Stadium and just swallow both of these teams whole. To avoid essentially any of the either team winning, because it would just break the universe at this point.
That's fair. I'm actually gonna pick the Dolphins.
I too am picking the Dolphins. So there you go. We'll see. We'll see about that. All
right. Sunday night, New England Patriots versus the Denver Broncos. It's pretty much confirmed at this point that Bill is gonna be out the door at the end of the season. Seems like it. Although Bailey Zappi is better than Mac Jones, it would be really funny if Bill was still involved, and Bailey Zappi played just good enough that they don't draft a quarterback with their super high pick.
Yeah.
Um, imagine though.
Can you imagine?
Versus the Broncos, they did just get shellacked by the Lions, but still 7-7, still looking good. Still only a game behind. No, now they're two. Never mind. But they're still in the playoff race for sure, which is not what you would have expected in week 4 or 5. So
Yeah. I mean, it definitely it was a come down to earth game for the Broncos, and I think there were some people that were like, "Ooh, the Broncos could win the division," and that doesn't seem like it's going to happen this time around. But the Broncos are, I think that they're in a good situation. I don't think they have too hard of a schedule down the stretch here. I think they'll take care of business against the Patriots.
I think so as well. All right. You're up.
Yes. The Raiders at the Chiefs. I mean, the Raiders are coming off of dropping a 63 burger on the Chargers. They have a much tougher defense to go up against now against the Chiefs. This was not a close game a couple weeks ago. Will that be different this time
around? I'm tempted. I'm gonna stick with the Chiefs though. You can't see the Chiefs falter as much as they have and not try to figure it out. Although they've been floundering more than you may have initially expected.
Yeah, 100%. I'm gonna pick the Chiefs.
All right. Monday afternoon, New York Giants versus the Philadelphia Eagles. Eagles on that skid that you don't want to be on. Giants, another team that kind of came back down to earth after riding high. However, the Eagles are not winning games that they should win. Do you think the Giants have a chance?
I still want to believe in Tommy DeVito and still want to believe in the in Meatball Mania.
Yeah. That's spaghetti for dinner, by the way.
Yeah, nice. I'm gonna go with the Eagles though. I think this is gonna be the get right game that the Eagles need.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
And to close out our Christmas Eve or Christmas night,
okay.
Christmas Day slate, the Ravens at the 49ers, one of the biggest games of the year. Potential Super Bowl preview. I believe your Super Bowl prediction was going to be these two teams, if I'm not mistaken.
Mid-season, I would think. Yep.
I think
mid-season prediction.
Mid-season, you did say that. The both teams riding high. Who do you think's going to do it, Matt?
I unironically think that this San Francisco 49ers team might be one of the greatest teams that has ever existed.
Okay.
In its current state. I'm team chaosing the Baltimore Ravens.
Hey!
I do believe if these teams meet in the Super Bowl that the 49ers will win.
Yeah.
But in this matchup, I think the Ravens will. The Ravens have been just so utterly consistent. And the 49ers' biggest hurdle has been I think the Eagles, and even then they took care of business handily. Also, this is San Francisco's 5th bird team in a row, and I don't think they're going to defeat the bird gauntlet. I think that's going to curse them, and they're going to falter here at the end.
I think if anyone could stare in the face of the bird gauntlet and say, "Not today, Death," it is Christian McCaffrey. Who I'm sure is you know what? No, this is gonna be Christian McCaffrey slander. I was gonna be like, maybe he is a Paul Blart Mall Cop too, because that's where Not Today Death is where.
Right.
Anyways, I am going to defer and pick the 49ers in this matchup.
See, that would make sense. I wanted fun chaos, and I like the Ravens. So
yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. I do stand by,
have two MVPs on their team. You could team chaos anyone against them pretty much.
Right. Yeah, it's nuts. I have told Chris this a bunch of times off the podcast. I am solely I have Christian McCaffrey in 2 of my 3 fantasy leagues. My third one that I don't have him in, I finished 11th place out of 12, and when I faced the 12th place team, I lost. So, that league's not going well for me. The one with Christian McCaffrey, the two with Christian McCaffrey, in the playoffs, in the semifinals for both of them. Granted, 43 points last week helps.
Yeah.
But, he's a really good football player.
Yes, he is. And with that is 10 game, or that's 6 games that we disagree on, 10 games that we don't.
Cool.
Bills Chargers. I picked the Chargers. Matt picked the Bills. Lions Vikings. I picked the Vikings. Matt picked the Lions. Commanders Jets. Matt picked the Commanders. I picked the Jets. Browns Texans. I picked the Browns. Matt picked the Texans. Jaguars Buccaneers. Matt picked the Jags. I picked the Bucks. And finally Ravens 49ers. Matt picked the Ravens. I picked the 49ers. That is a lot of disagreements. I want to make sure I didn't miss any. We both agreed on the Rams. We both agreed on the Bengals. We both agreed on the Colts. We both agreed on the Seahawks, I believe.
Yep.
Packers we agreed on. Bears we agreed on. Dolphins we agreed on. Broncos we agreed on. Chiefs we agreed on. Eagles we agreed on. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. There you go. Well, Jesus Christ, it's Christmas. We've reached Christmas.
It's Christmas
of the NFL season. We hope
Christmas time is here.
For those who celebrate Christmas, we hope you enjoy it. For those who celebrate Hanukkah, we hope you had a great holiday. I know that. I believe it's over now. I believe.
Yeah. It's been at least 8 days.
Yes. Yeah. And for all who celebrate anything else or just don't celebrate at all, we just hope you have a wonderful week, and and thank you all so much for listening, and we'll see you guys next week.
Punch the New Year's baby in the face. Good night and good ball.
We're having another podcast before New Year's. Okay.
It's early. You got to get it in early.
I see.